The film begins with a look at Matos, a man with cerebral palsy who is unable to speak. He is attending a medical commission, a setting that suggests a pivotal moment in his life. The narrative then shifts to a flashback, taking us to 1987, where we see Matos as a young boy. A doctor, observing the boy's physical exercises, suspects he has mental retardation. His mother, however, firmly disagrees, insisting that her son understands everything. When the doctor recommends a special institution, the mother refuses outright. Back at home, she tirelessly works on teaching Matos to walk, even as her other children express skepticism. Matos, unable to walk, moves around on his back, often interacting with his father. In a desperate attempt to help their son, his parents hire a massage therapist. The massage therapist, referred to as the specialist, eventually realizes his efforts to help the boy are futile. The mother walks with Matos, admitting to herself that her attempts may be in vain. Yet the boy tries to communicate. This communication barrier frustrates her deeply. Through a voiceover, Matos reveals his own frustration with his inability to communicate with his family. His father, seeing his son struggle, teaches him to assert himself, instilling in him a fierce determination to learn. Matos crawls to his mother, who puts aside her other daughter to focus on him. He also learns to socialize by observing his neighbors from the window. The family receives a package from Germany containing a coconut, and Matos learns about perseverance as he watches his father struggle to open it. He also observes his mother's guests trying on dresses. One day, while Matos is watching a program about space rockets, his sister Matilda turns off the television, causing him to become angry. His mother notices his agitated movements and turns the program back on, ignoring her daughter's comment that her brother doesn't understand anything. Later, Matilda asks where her hairpin is. Matos, making sounds, crawls toward the couch. His relatives try to calm him down, but he is trying to draw attention to the hairpin that is rolled underneath the couch, though his efforts are unsuccessful. The film jumps to 1989. Matos' father shows him the night sky through the window, telling him about the stars. Off-screen, Matos wonders what his father's job is. When Matos is older, his father builds him a new wheelchair out of scrap materials, including a folding bed and wheels from a trolley. Later, to celebrate Poland's first democratic elections and its liberation from socialism, the father goes to the store, supposedly to buy a new door lock. However, he returns home late at night, completely drunk. He climbs onto the balcony, tapping on the window to get Matos' attention. At that moment, Poles are joyfully setting off fireworks in the sky. As the boy watches, his father falls from the balcony and dies. Matos is left with the memory of his father's words, "Never give up." The film moves to 1998. The adult Matos still crawls around, now admiring the stars from his windowsill. He observes his neighbor, Anka, a girl whose mother is so hospitable that she invites different men to her house every night. Matilda, now seeking a husband herself, begins bringing men to their apartment, which disrupts Matos. She moves him to another room to accommodate her guests. Matos' brother takes him outside, where he meets Anka. They become friends, and their visits on a bench evolve into walks, with Anka using a wheelchair that her father made for her. During a visit to the zoo, Matos notices bruises on Anka. He later witnesses Anka defending her mother from a man. Matos throws a handful of flowers and dirt at the man, who then teases him. A policeman, recognizing Matos, intervenes and is attacked by the man, leading to the man's arrest. Anka tells Matos that she and her mother are leaving to go to her grandmother's house. Matos crawls to the entrance, and they look at each other as he tries to speak. The brother, who is in the Navy, returns home on vacation to find that Matilda has married. During their reunion, they discuss living together and the increasing responsibility of caring for Matos as their mother is getting older. Matos spends his days watching the world from the window. A tragic accident occurs when his mother falls while trying to put him in his wheelchair. Following the accident, his sister and her husband move him to a medical boarding house. He hopes his mother will come back for him, but he struggles to adjust to life there. His mother visits after leaving the hospital, promising to return on Monday, but Matos understands that he has been abandoned. Matos falls into a deep depression, despite the care he receives from the staff. The presence of a new volunteer, a young girl, offers him some slight comfort. His mother visits, detailing the lives of his siblings, but her words are met with hatred from Matos, who resents her for abandoning him. An emotional outburst leads to him being confined to a padded room and given a boxing helmet. To prevent him from biting his own lips, doctors restrain him in a dental chair and grind his teeth. Humiliated and desperate, Matos attempts suicide by rolling his wheelchair down the stairs, recalling his father's advice about resistance. The attempt fails, and he is hospitalized. In 2005, a nurse introduces a new volunteer, Magda, to Matos' ward, testing her resolve. In the ward, Matos' perception shifts as he notices Magda dancing to distract herself. A nurse is skeptical of Magda's claims that Matos understands her. Magda observes Matos reacting to a magazine during a bath. On Matos' 25th birthday, his mother visits, and Magda asks to take him for a walk. Later, Magda brings Matos an interesting magazine, and, convinced of his interest, disrobes. Magda takes Matos to a Christmas dinner with her father, stepmother, and guests. Matos' appearance creates an awkward atmosphere, which worsens when Magda introduces him to her fiancé and kisses him. It is revealed that Magda's behavior is an act of revenge against her father for remarrying after her mother's death. Her father recounts her past behavior of bringing a homeless person to dinner. Realizing he has been used, Matos falls from his chair, knocking over glasses. Back in the boarding house, Matos feels used after Magda quits her volunteer work. He listens to music to cope with his emotions. During a visit, his mother shares family updates, causing him distress, though she misunderstands the reason for his upset. In 2008, a theatrical performance is held for the nursing home patients. Later, during a massage, Matos meets Mrs. Yola, a woman who teaches sign language to the disabled. He tries to communicate with her and succeeds in getting her attention and calming him. Mrs. Yola develops a communication system for him, using signs and blinks. Matos' progress surprises the medical staff, who had previously underestimated his mental capabilities. Mrs. Yola invites Matos' mother and sister to teach them how to communicate with him. Using his new system, he communicates, "I am not a vegetable." His life begins to change. He is reevaluated by a medical commission, gets dentures, and moves to a personalized ward with a motorized wheelchair. In 2010, a journalist named Eva interviews Matos. He learns to use the internet and a computer for communication. His sister brings him home to meet his nephews and talk to his brother. He and his nephew go stargazing together. Later, his mother learns that superiors want to transfer Matos to another institution after reading an article about him, but he resists the idea. Matos is brought before the medical commission, but he feigns illness. Mrs. Yola attempts to take him away, but he resists, crawling back toward the commission. He eventually stands with great difficulty and approaches the table. Mrs. Yola then pushes Matos in his old wheelchair through the mental institution, where he has resided for years. The final scene shows him in his ward, moving in an automatic chair toward a telescope. The film concludes with the protagonist looking directly at the audience.